Does your dough pass the window pane test? Let's talk about it. If you're a beginner baker, you might have some questions about knowing when your dough has been properly prepared for both resting and baking. I like doing the window pane test on enriched doughs for things like cinnamon rolls, babkas, and other bread recipes. You should get to know the dough you're working with and ensure that the gluten has successfully formed when kneading. The window pane test is something helpful that I prefer doing when kneading dough instead of going based on the time that the recipe might suggest. So when we knead dough, what are we actually doing? We're creating structure for our bread and improving its overall texture. Kneading dough helps develop those gluten proteins known as glutenin and gliadin, which strengthens the dough and gives it that elasticity. Gluten also traps gases in the dough, which helps with the overall rise. If a recipe says to knead your dough for 10 minutes, there could be actual factors impacting how the kneading process is going. The speed you've chosen on your mixer or how much force you're adding if you're kneading by hand are two factors that can impact the quality of your dough. So I've taken a piece of the dough so far, and as we can see, it's not very elastic, and as I try to stretch it out, it breaks way too easily. If we stopped working with our dough at this stage, we could end up with our bread rising poorly, not a lot of flavor, and bad texture overall. So after working the dough a little bit longer, we can see that as I'm stretching it out, it doesn't tear. At this stage, we can continue with the recipe and get our dough ready to be baked. With a successfully developed dough, we get both a great texture and flavor like these cinnamon rolls. By taking our time to develop the gluten, we've easily improved our bake with a couple extra steps.